and welcome to the Some Laugh Halloween special Spooktacular, the last ever podcast you'll listen to, because it's going to be that shite it'll put you off podcasts forever. Oh,
Don't tell them it's going to be shite.
sorry lads.
At least let them make their own minds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Some Laugh Halloween special.
It's the Spooktacular.
Spook it.
Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
Maybe I should take my mask off. Can you hear?
I just take the mask off for
It's
that.
just
so
me,
it's-
guys.
I was considering wearing the Paddy McGuinness mask for this. It would have been 2 masks.
Oh, that would have been
The
good.
laziest
And I am the mask.
You're the
Yeah.
mask.
Actually.
For
Yeah.
the listeners who can't see,
You're missing it.
you're missing it big time. Jennings is the mask from the hit movie The Mask.
Smoking.
The titular mask.
The titular mask.
Titular mask.
I am Jason Voorhees, I believe,
Who's that?
from Friday the 13th. He's
never
got,
seen
it's like a sort of hockey mask with blood on it. To be honest, this isn't the actual thing that he wears. I've just got like a sort of
Your house getting
jumpsuit.
fumigated.
I'm painting my house in it. So I had this lying about, and I've got a wee
You've come as a
machete.
sketch character you've already done.
I've done this in a sketch before,
Yes.
so it was quite lazy on my part. But you,
I've
Stu,
worn this in a sketch. I don't know if you've seen it. I mean, I think you should leave.
Stuart's dressed like a hot dog I've seen in a...
Hot dog costume.
very
Yeah.
very funny costume.
It's actually, I'm regretting already. It's quite itchy. This fabric is not as high quality as you might imagine.
Really? Looks so
This
high quality.
this
I thought you were
1999 Amazon last minute Prime
I
purchase.
thought you were an actual hot dog.
You
That's
thought-
how good it looks.
Made it out of Egyptian cotton.
Well, I got I actually had this mask costume. I think I must have bought it last Halloween for something, and then I think maybe due to COVID and stuff, whatever, I was meant to be going to get cancelled. So I had it, but then I was in Primark yesterday because I had to get this green face paint, and I seen this jacket. So this is actually like a women's suit jacket.
Lovely.
I'm like Hillary Clinton here in the power suit.
Looks a wee bit
Girl
like
boss.
different colour to the hat and stuff, but it's still it's
nice.
funny. It's nice.
I just thought I'd look better on camera than
Aye.
It's little touches like that, man.
what can I say? And I've got the
The shoes.
shoes as well. Oh,
And we've,
got some in the
I
bottom.
would say, as like on Halloween when you go out with your pals, like guys tend to dress up. We've come as the 3 type of things you can dress
the
up
3
as.
Halloween archetypes.
Aye, we've got the guy who puts in a lot of effort.
The guys try to look cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's you, is it?
Well, I'm trying. I said emphasis on trying. Right, I'm trying to look cool. I'll wear a wee fedora. And,
It's funny, but it's still a suit.
It's
You're
a
still
suit.
dressing up.
You're still
Yeah.
kind of dressing up.
Different
See,
colour
like-
palette. You're Sinatra.
Aye, that's
Aye.
it. I'm not confident enough to go silly. I need to be like, right, I need to still try and look good.
Well, I thought you were kind of going like the guy who puts in a lot of effort. He's put his wee face paint on.
Well, for any MUAs that are watching, they can clearly see that I've not done that great a job on the green face paint.
But then you've got the guy like me who tries to go too spooky.
Spooky.
Too
You're a
scary.
horror guy, though. You've always loved your horror.
I'm a horror guy.
It's on brand.
You're
But
right.
you've not like it's not like there's people that get that the face paint done, but it's like it really looks like you've been in a fucking car crash or you've had an eye
Aye,
gouged out or
totally.
something. Those are quite good. Those ones.
But I'd say that's lasses probably tend to go into quite a good bit of effort for when the sort of face paint.
Well, we actually done that sketch. Remember that we done a zombie apocalypse sketch, and you
That's
had one of your pals that's like a makeup artist, and she gave everybody all the kind of ghouly looking.
Yeah, gashes and all that on
Yeah.
their face and stuff. That was good.
They roped
Good
her in. We've not got the budget for that just yet. Maybe next year.
I want to get tarted up for the live show.
Yeah.
Oh, aye.
Slutty.
I prefer a tasteful actual makeup. Make me look good.
Well, the live show is going to be like around about Christmas, so it's effectively going to be a Christmas special. We should probably say as well, by the way, just to come out of the chat for a minute, fucking thank you so much for everyone that bought tickets to the live show.
Aye.
Yeah,
we
cheers.
actually couldn't believe, we actually got a message just saying like, oh, why is it not letting us buy tickets? Is it sold out or something?
This speaks to our humility that we thought was a clerical error.
Like, they can't even put all the tickets on sale, surely, and sure enough they had, and it sold out. So thank you so much to everybody who's bought them. Apologies to anyone who was planning to, who hasn't. But if you're not fast, you're last, I suppose. But we will. We'll
put
try
on
and,
more.
We'll
do
definitely
more.
have more, and we'll probably be putting that out we'll have a recording of the live show as well, so it will be out in some format around about that time. But anyway, just to say thanks.
Thanks very much. I was
Cheers, guys.
pleasantly surprised.
Should be a
Absolutely.
good laugh. We'll have some good guests and all that.
Absolutely, it's going to be
Probably.
fun. But
Probs.
as this is the episode for Halloween, we are of course doing this Halloween special, which is why we're all dressed like this.
Aye. The other archetype we never got.
I thought we were going to just leave it.
never got into Stu. The guy who bought a costume off Amazon last night.
guy with Amazon Prime. 20 quid to burn.
It's either like you try and dress up, or the I guess for lassies it would be like dress sexy, or you dress scary, or you dress kind of funny.
Yeah.
And you've done the funny ones too with the hot dog.
Yeah, it was a limited options. As I told you, I wanted to go as a Greg Sausage Roll. A friend of the show, Amelia Baylor, funny comedian, in her act, she dresses up like a Greg Sausage Roll, and I wanted to get a loan of that, but sadly she was out of town.
And if you'd done that and we'd still not got sponsored by them,
Well,
then it
exactly.
would have been a sad indictment of
I know.
Yeah.
of
Maybe
our
we'll get a hot
efforts.
dog tie-in, that'd be good. Although I don't even like hot dogs, actually.
We spoke about rollover last.
Yeah, that's what will fucking happen. We'll get fucking hot dogs and I can't even eat them.
I'll be cutting out that bit you say you don't like hot dogs. Yeah. So, Stu's such a fan of rollover hot dogs, best hot dogs
Never
in the world.
done eating fucking
That he's
rollovers.
dressed up as one. But do you think that was mainly taking inspiration from the I Think You Should Leave sketch? Is Tim Robinson in it?
Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
On,
fan of the show,
Netflix.
certainly.
Very funny.
But it's kind of a fail-safe, because if you've not seen the show, it's still a costume.
Still a hot dog. No one's
No one's getting left behind. It's an
No.
accessible costume, and it's the
double
first
done.
thing that comes up when you type in Greg Sausage Roll on Amazon, but can't get that because it wouldn't have arrived in time. It's the second thing. That's how much effort I went.
What's the best Halloween costumes you've ever had, or what have you been as before?
Back, I've not dressed up in a while, but back in the day, I was probably one of those ones who thought it would be funny to dress up as, like, you know how one of it's like a naked old granny and you've got a dress and you could do that. You can flash.
That's
Do you know what I mean? Like saggy tits and
Yeah,
a
I've
hairy
seen
fanny.
this. Yeah.
I used to think that was the peak of...
That's hilarious.
That's so good.
To be fair, that could have gone worse there. People I'm dressed up like the Harlem
Flash
Globetrotters or something like that.
No, I've never fucking
Justin
blacked
Trudeau.
up or anything.
You know.
Who was it? Antoine Griezmann. Did you see that one? Fuck me.
Did he do that?
Yeah,
It's
Jesus.
I remember there was a story in the Daily Record a couple of years ago about a woman that done it, but it was only like a few years ago, and it was like I think she got the sack and all that stuff, and then it was like this pure like I can't believe I'm not allowed to do this. It was just a joke, but then it's like in this day and age you can't
Come
be
on,
thinking
you
that's
gotta have
fine.
got that memo by now.
Exactly.
I saw a guy when I was working at the potato shed. He was going about in Glasgow Central. He was cutting about as Mr. T, white guy with fucking, and like people
I've seen
were
that a few
fucking
times.
loving it. But
Yeah.
people kept going up to him, getting pictures and everything.
You just
Nowadays
realise how
you can't.
much of racism is still in the society. Basically, you're like, oh, just people thinking, not realising that that's not cool, guys.
We can't
that's-
be sitting here talking about race dressed as a hot dog. I'm not having
In about
Not
10
this
years'
clipped.
time, you'll be looking back at your face paint the day of Jennings, your green
The
face.
green people are going back. How dare you? As people with jaundice or something. I don't know, is that- so talk us through this costume.
I've never seen those. You get them in stag does, and all. It's like a
Yeah.
fucking saggy tits, big hairy fanny. It's a
full set.
So is it kind of like almost not like a fat suit, but a kind of a suit,
saggy
of,
suit.
a saggy suit thing?
I've also
The
had
joke
a,
is, look at the neck of this old woman.
aye, I think it was called Groping Granny, I believe. I think that's what it was called.
Official brand name.
Official brand name.
Sponsored by gropinggranny.com.
And you had a wee floral dress.
You're looking for a last minute Halloween gift, guys.
Very
Yeah, I was on
funny
a
stuff.
stag and they were going through options to get the stag to dress up, and that was one of them. I was like, absolutely no way.
So what's on top of
A
it?
wee floral dress, Velcro, obviously, easy access. You go, whoosh, and then this was times
Flash's
where
dream
I would-
Velcro.
aye, exactly. Easy. It was like we went to the Bully at the time. It's
Yeah,
a club
local
in
nightclub.
Clydebank. Every guys kept coming up. Oh, this is class! Like opening up your dress, and I felt violated. I'm not gonna lie. By the end of the night,
Imagine
I
how
was
groping
sick.
granny felt herself.
Well, you experienced the experience of being a granny getting groped for one night. Imagine, I know all
Yeah,
year
a
round.
lifetime
is-
of
I
that.
know, a
You know,
Wasn't
granny.
worth thinking about.
Actually,
Sticky
if
Vicky.
anything, I think all men should be forced to have one
To
night.
don the groping granny costume and see how it feels.
Maybe
had-
rethink some of their behaviour after that. If you ask me.
No, it was ridiculous. Like guys coming up and putting the tits in their mouth and all that, and you're like, come on.
I'm just having a night out with the rest of the grannies here.
But even like, it wasn't as if I was offended by it, but it was like, don't put your slabbers on my fucking good groping granny costume.
It just seems to
This
be
is
like
to last me for years to come.
taking some liberties, I would say, definitely.
I also went as a supersized Superman one time, supersized man, which was
How
just
so?
a fat suit with a Superman costume.
Alright, okay.
Very funny.
Oh,
amusing.
supersized man, so that would obviously the height probably of supersized me.
Yeah, and that's one of the times that I pulled actually. I remember being in a bus stop trying to get
Was it
off
that
a
version
lassie.
of you that she liked?
I think so. She.
Do you need to turn up
Went
to the
off
date?
him when he took the costume off.
I also pulled wearing the groping granny costume.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of your best work dressed up.
Here, this is actually a thing. I do a lot of my best work dressed up. When we went to Zante, we done a schoolgirls night, and the only time I pulled in Zante was the schoolgirls night.
Wow. What is it about the costume? Do you think it brings out a different side of you, the costume?
I think people don't like my normal looks.
Fun and funny.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Shows that I'm a laugh. Do you know
That's
what I mean?
interesting.
Try to get off a lassie with a big stupid fat suit at a bus.
Who was she dressed as?
She wasn't dressed. It wasn't even Halloween. Just cutting a bit.
It's part of trying to accentuate. I'll just try and make myself a big guy and see if that kind of it's like Biggie Smalls, just kind of like people just are drawn to me.
Aye, exactly. But no, it was like near Halloween, but it wasn't Halloween night, so some people were dressed up, some people weren't.
Yeah, I know, but that's
I don't know what the rules are.
unless it falls on a Saturday. Sometimes you feel like, or a Friday or Saturday, like when you're out,
Aye.
you feel like if it's no the night. I suppose
Yeah.
it's usually the weekend before a
Unless they've advertised it as like a Halloween party or
Halloween
whatever.
night. Yeah,
I don't know how the wires got crossed, but when we were at uni, my mate Ben did that once. For some reason, because it was the week of Halloween, he thought we were all dressing up.
Yeah,
And proper sitcom thing, even though like this is a cancelable outfit as well, because he was just wearing his normal clothes, but he cut them up and he's like, I'm like a homeless guy. But we were all just watching the Champions League. No one else in the whole building was dressed up.
But
just
that-
him in tatters and rags.
I've went in that as well, like with the wee stick, the wee
Yeah.
what's that called?
Knapsack.
A knapsack.
I think I remember like when I'd been work or something, and it'd be like the night everybody was dressing up, and see if you've not done it, and then you make some half-assed effort, like you rip one of the arms off your shirt or something,
Aye.
and it's just you feel you'd be better no bothering.
Just don't even bother. Yeah. But then you
Aye.
look too cool for school if you don't dress up. You're kind of trapped.
Well, a couple of my mates have done. You were talking about the guys who want to dress good. Like a couple of my mates done like just like leather jackets and that, and like one bit of blood here and a couple of fake teeth, as if they're like sexy vampires.
Yeah.
Hot guy that got punched in the mouth.
Yeah, I know that's.
Big teeth.
You'd think you'd feel more awkward if you're dressed up and everybody else isn't, but I think you feel just as self-conscious when you're the only one no dressed up.
Yeah.
Aye.
Everybody, there's just if you're no fitting in with whatever the
It's
other
like
people are
forgetting
doing.
it's dress down day at school or something.
Aye, no,
Oh,
that's
nightmare.
exactly what it's like.
Did you ever do that? Go in with your uniform on?
Don't think so.
Non-uniform
Don't
day.
think
I've done it once.
You refuse to pay the quid to ski
Aye.
up or whatever.
What have you guys dressed up as in the past?
My best one was Pitbull. I went out as Pitbull one year,
That's
which
good.
was like the closest I've ever felt to being an actual celebrity. Like I couldn't even get a second's piece all night. Like folk were just coming up to me. I had like a bald cap, white chinos, my pals like loafers, these fucking sunglasses that I felt bad. I got my mate Harry's actual sunglasses. I was like, I need to look like a fucking disgrace. Can I borrow your actual sunglasses that you wear? Because I bought a pair off eBay, but they were from a company I hadn't heard of called the Pumpkin Patch,
Sure.
which is for children in America. So they took like 2 weeks to arrive, and when they came, they were like that size. And I lost the bald cap in Istanbul. The chip shop, not the city. But
I was going to say that. There must be a story behind that.
yeah, because I was out. Ollie was out, and he was dressed as like Ziggy Stardust era David Bowie, and he looked fucking brilliant. Like he
Yeah.
looked just like him, and he never got. He was just standing next to me all night, just getting fucking dinged all night. Because people were like, "Are you Pitbull? That's fucking amazing." And I'd be like,
Mr. 305?
"What are you, like a spaceman?" And he looked incredible, and I looked shit, but I was getting so much attention.
Says a lot about
worldwide.
Pitbull as well, because
At the
really
time.
you're a bald guy in a suit, and
Yeah.
everybody knows it's
Yeah,
Pitbull.
I had like a cravat, like a purple paisley cravat thing, and
Wee goatee.
I was clean shaven at the time, and I drew on a little soul patch goatee kind of thing.
Nice,
That's
nice.
a little
That's
wide.
great.
Yeah, I've never felt better than when I was out as Pitbull. I think that was the real me. Because when it was at uni, so it was like in the height of that was his Imperious phase as well, where like every fucking song in the club
Featuring
was
Pitbull.
Pitbull. Yeah,
What about you?
I've went obviously a few times. I think I did go as Woody one time. I think was my main
Nice.
one when I was younger. And again,
We went. Aye.
we done it for a
Scram.
Scram Halloween show we done, but years before I'd went as Woody. So I'd been as a vampire one year. I think vampire would probably be my go-to. I like
Safe
being a
bet,
vampire. Kind of got the hair already.
That's the standard, isn't it?
Aye,
Vampire.
that's you're kind of.
Are you going sexy vampire or classic vampire?
I think I'm kind of trying to
Nosferatu.
classic vampire, but I'm still looking good. You know, I've got a big collar and cape, and the
Vampire that
things.
fucks.
You're not going Twilight vampire though. You're going.
No. I'm going classic Count
Dracula.
Count Fuckula.
What would a Twilight vampire look like? Would that not just
be a guy?
Robert Pattinson. Well, that's what, like, my mates would have a leather jacket, a one wee bit.
Oh,
of
that's
blood.
what they're going for.
Can't have been in that.
Right.
But me and my mates went as the Seven Dwarfs one year. I remember.
Aye, come on.
You
Can't be
on
doing
your
that.
knees.
No, but we just had the we didn't. I don't know what you could do. I don't know what you're like. We just had the masks from the Seven Dwarfs and all dressed up with the wee overalls and stuff. But the time I was Woody, right, I had probably one of the most embarrassing things ever happened to me.
Go for it.
So this has happened to people before. But I think the night we'd been on 2 nights out. It was when we were probably about 21 or something like that. So we'd been out on the Friday and the Saturday of this Halloween weekend. Out on the Friday, fucking steaming, right? Absolutely smashed. I think
It's
I'd
not like
maybe...
wearing a costume is like a multiplier of like you're
Absolutely.
getting fucking wrecked.
We went to
Yeah.
this nightclub. I still even remember where it was in town, but I don't think I've ever been back since. It was just one of the nights. Everybody was out. We get steaming, had a good time. And I'm pretty sure one of the nights I'd had a curry as well, right? So you know tell where this is going. But so on the Saturday night, right?
I'm worried, Steve.
So I'm wearing a Woody costume. Now the Woody costume, the gear, like, it's basically like the sort of shitty wee polystyrene, like, or whatever it is, like
Foreshadow.
the trousers are like they're denim look, but they're just like the normal like wee pajama fucking
Aye.
trousers. So I'm wearing
Is it
them.
the third one where Woody shits his pants?
But I done the mistake of, obviously, from a night when I'd been really steaming, I was hungover, I'd obviously
Perfect
ate whatever
storm.
I'd ate, and then I trusted a fart, shall we
Right.
say, and I remember thinking, oh no, and so
In the middle of a night out.
so this is in the
Hope
Saturday.
you don't do
and-
the same in those trousers, by the way.
I would get a cushion on the just get. It was we were at a kind of a local bowling club or something before we went to like the dancing, and so I just had to go into the bathroom and like checked, and I was like, oh no. And I had,
Oh no.
and so I just had to take off my boxers, and I didn't know what to do with them, so I opened the cistern of the toilet, and I put them into the cistern.
sake, man.
And I
Thinking if
just-
only Andy could see me now.
I just left them and went away, and then I
Just continued your night out.
just continued my night out. And then every
It's going to take more
picture,
than that to slow him down.
and it was weird because then I seen every picture. I had seen some pictures the next day of me dressed as Woody in the nightclub, and I'm like, I'm commando there. But
Man,
fuck
I
me.
feel sorry for the person having to go and unclog that cistern.
do you know it's weird because I hadn't been back there in like a couple of years since, and then I went back
Did
for
you
like
check?
21st or something. I checked to see if they're
Wow.
still
Were they there?
No.
Like picture behind the bar of Woody from Toy Story with a cross there.
I wanted. Have you seen this? Man, like a fucking actual cowboy thing.
Probably my best one was me and my mate Ali went as Jack and Victor one time.
That's
He's
good.
quite a big tall guy, and
Classic.
I just used the fat suit from the
The granny suit.
the,
from
the granny suit for Jack.
Did you actually? Yeah, 2 pints, prick.
Groping Granda.
Sucking Jack's tits in the bar.
So I feel bad because like that, like obviously I love Jack and Victor, I still game and that, but wearing a fat suit felt kind of bad for that character. But just because he was so tall, we
It's
had
going
to
to
play it out.
accentuate the
Exactly.
difference.
Exactly.
It's like that thing they say. It's like every sitcom, you need a banana-shaped guy and an orange-shaped guy or whatever.
Is that right?
Is that what
That's
this
what they
is?
say.
I suppose it. Aye.
That's why
Laurel
Laurel
and
and Hard.
Hardy.
Steve. Need to think about that.
Well, I'm kind of
I'll be
turning
on
into a wee
stilts.
orange these days.
Me and my mate Nick one year went out as the Edinburgh Pandas.
Did you?
Yeah, he was Chan Chan and I was Yang Guan. And I got chucked out of the Union in Dundee because
Did people try and make you fuck?
yeah, I didn't pull that night. It was like a big net, like at the top, like because they were going to release like balloons or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was obviously fucking steaming as well, and I'd smuggled in because I was told I wasn't allowed to bring this in, but I'd like this massive bamboo that like I got from B&M, like like a lantern for your garden or something, but it's made out of bamboo, and I like snapped the light off. And I was just doing bits with my bamboo all night in the club, and then I just fucking like thwacked the net, and all the balloons came down like 5 hours before they were supposed to. Like, get this fucking cunt out here, man.
My ex had went to a Halloween party that year, and she thought it was an Alan Partridge themed party, so she went as the lassie Sally Phillips plays in it, the receptionist. So she went as that, and then it was just a normal Halloween
How
party.
did she think it was Partridge?
I think the
it's such a niche character.
I think it was like the person organising it, like her pal. Like they're both into Partridge and they're talking about it, and so she picked up on a rang, and so she came as like basically just like a receptionist, and everyone was like, "Who the fuck are you?"
I'm Sally Phillips from I'm Alan Partridge, series 1 only.
Have you ever seen like? No, obviously there's the old cliches of like fucking Buzz and Woody getting
Fighting.
and the Teenage Ninja Turtles fighting with fucking
A banana.
or whatever, Banana Man. Have you ever seen? Have you ever
Almost
had any?
certainly, but I can't think.
I know that's the thing. I'm sure I've been in these scenarios, but you're always steaming.
Now. Yeah,
Steaming, so you can't really remember them.
I've never been in a fight like that, but I've certainly seen them.
Aye.
The one that always gets me is when like big groups of lads are out at Christmas and they'll be like in Wetherspoons and they're all wearing like their funny Christmas jumpers. And it's like, it's that nice, funny, cute, what a laugh, whatever, and then you just see geared up cunts fighting and that. You're like, it's really not as cute and quirky as you thought it was going to be.
Exactly. Descends into madness.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it's like it's always a good laugh in Halloween, but like see with so that fucking groping granny thing, it's like when it's a stag do and all that, like you just see them coming a mile away, and if you're no on a stag do, or obviously for us if we're doing gigs now and you see them and you just think you just look like fucking pricks.
That's always sets my alarm bells off at a gig.
Absolutely.
I think it was before I'd done stand-up, so that was my form of attention, like dressing like that, and then people go, "Oh, that's fucking hilarious."
And it was only twice you ever pulled.
Exactly. Aye. No, I didn't want to use it as a crutch. Like every time I want to pull, I need to dress up like a fucking old naked woman or whatever.
Have you we used big trick or treaters when you were young?
I wasn't massively.
No,
I wasn't that bothered about it.
Not rich, burnt island.
I mean, we had it, sure.
we don't like that American stuff. Fucking, a guy came dressed as Screaming, we fucking burnt him with a wicker man. I tell you,
Scream's a classic.
I had that Scream mask with the wee heart that you could.
Oh, aye, the blood comes down the face.
Yeah, you could.
That was
squeeze
revolutionary.
That was a belter. I mean, I don't think technology's. I think that was when technology peaked.
It was peak. It was. That was class. I loved it.
I had a belter.
I had it, and it like burst, and like all the mad fake blood went.
I think that's what happened to me. Is it stopped working at one point, and then you were fucked. But because there was the original Scream mask were out, and then that one came out, fucking changed the game.
That was a game changer, man. Loved that shit.
When I was a wee guy, I went as Darth Maul as well. I remember.
Did you paint the face?
Painted the face. Now I remember. That's one of my memories.
Spikes in your face.
Yeah, getting my face painted like Darth Maul, and then.
Darth Maul had quite a bammy haircut from my memory of like when you used to like gel your hair down. And
I didn't need to
that's
change
what
a
Darth
thing.
Maul looks like.
But no, that was cool. But you never used to trick or
Not
treat?
massively. I mean, I definitely went, but I can't remember. It's not like something I loved and looked forward to.
No.
Really?
No.
I loved a bit of trick or treat.
Yeah, you've got trick or treating written all over you. So.
Tell a wee joke.
I bet you weren't
That's
allowed to
what
leave. You were
your
only
act,
going out around the 10 houses in your street or something. I bet you.
Aye, but sometimes you'd try and venture to other streets, and they'd be like, "But you're not for this street." I think people wanted you to keep it in the street.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really ask if somebody. It's Halloween. Somebody comes to your door and you've got these sweeties. You're handing them out. If they give you a trick or a treat, you're giving them a trick and you're giving them a treat. That's what's meant being it.
No.
Because how can you give someone a treat or a trick could be a joke, I guess. But isn't the idea
it's
that
a song or a joke, wasn't it?
I guess so. Well, it's a trick, isn't it? And then you get for the trick, you get given a treat. Is that what it is?
Aye,
Yeah.
that's it.
Aye.
But why is it trick or treat? Shouldn't it be trick then treat?
It goes back to the
good point,
Subway
actually.
cookie or crisp. It's like,
Cookie then
You
crisp.
trying to steal a trick?
oh, you can have the monkey nuts or the chocolate. By the way, what the fuck were monkey nuts all about?
I'm not interested in monkey nuts.
My dad would be raiding my bag for the monkey nuts afterwards.
really?
He fucking loved monkey nuts.
Aye.
He would send me out to get hunters of monkey nuts. I wouldn't touch a monkey nut.
Nah, I wouldn't thank you for a monkey nut.
Nah.
No way.
That's
Just
wild, isn't it?
he loved monkey nuts.
That feels like the sort of thing that like, our parents' generation would have got for like, a Christmas
That was
present.
Yeah.
their treat.
An orange and some monkey nuts.
We didn't have your fancy Dan crunchies when I was it was a bloody monkey nut or your auntie peanuts, you know what I mean?
Wasn't it? Also, see when you went to somebody's and they gave you like a fucking orange and a
Yeah,
couple
fuck
of monkey
off.
nuts.
Fuck
Shut
off,
up.
Mrs. Adams.
Agnes.
You're orange.
Agnes
the-
And the
Adams.
problem is my street, we've not got houses in front.
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know, it's not set up well for trick or treating.
Yeah.
But it's a very suburban thing.
Yeah.
It is quite a suburban thing, innit? Because I can't imagine going trick or treating in Glasgow city centre.
Yeah, well, I live in Glasgow city centre, and I was going to ask, do you guys get like folk coming around? Because we never get any.
We do.
It's kind of went down over the years, I would say.
I think now it's more like what you're describing, Steve, of like in our street, like the wee wains that are like of the neighbours that we know will come because they know us.
Aye.
And then, and I think as well, like it's a sort of sign into if you've got Halloween decorations up, you're probably going to begin at trick or treat things.
Yeah.
If you're not getting up, then you probably know, and I think that's the sign. Also, you just turn the lights off and fucking kid on your own.
That's what I tend to do. What's the age that you stop going
I
out?
think it's first pube.
And it's like,
second that's in.
I've still not got my pubes yet.
who's checking this policy? Stuart, turn on somebody's door. Trick or treat. Let's see your
self-
pubes.
See your pubes. mate.
Self-policing.
You got a pubie, man.
You're not getting a Kit Kat, you got pubes. You can't have both.
I do remember going out trick or treating when I was probably a bit too old for it.
I was going to say, I went the year after.
I think I'd been drinking.
You can't even get in a blue wicked.
I wasn't doing it steaming, but I think I had drank before and then went trick or treating. So maybe I'm talking, maybe like, I don't know, 13, 14 maybe,
Right.
which is too old.
It's that
Isn't it,
push.
to be trick or
It's like
treating?
the thing now
Aye.
of like when you go to an actual nightclub and you feel really old and you're like, I'm too old for this shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the kid version of that.
Because I'm sure it was like maybe 13, 14 that we were like bored one night and we're like, do you want to just get some free sweets?
That's
I've
what
got
we
that
done.
scream
That's exactly
mask up in the
that's
loft.
exactly what we done, I think.
And
aye.
you're just wearing a trackie with like a scream mask, and people are looking at you like, "Come on to fuck, boys."
Yeah.
And they were embarrassed, but so they were actually like, "Who's under there? Who's under there?" And we were like, "Doesn't matter."
You've got a beard.
So you look like my hubcaps.
And then we were just like trying to like just use sweets, but then they wouldn't gaze it until they seen our faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be giving out sweets to the kids that are sort of at the age where you're terrorising the local neighbourhood.
Yeah.
Here's a trick or treat joke for you, right? Stuart, what do Fifers do on Halloween?
I don't know.
The pumpkin.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. There we go.
You know, I've never heard that before.
I just made up. I think I have seen it before somewhere. It's got to be. I thought you'd be hitting it with that, man. What that'd be a fight.
Own it, yeah.
Maybe that's why no one where
'Cause
you're
we're all
from
related.
does
The neighbours.
trick or treating, just in case they hear that joke.
Were you ever familiar with the term bag slashing?
No.
No?
What are you talking about?
For trick
In England, you'd have to say bag plugging, of course. So we're on the same page.
Like if you went out, it's like, oh, do you want to go out bag slashing in it? Maybe bag snatching could be
Big
used.
snatching, I can understand. So be nicking other people's-
Slashing people's bags and then taking their sweets. I never done it, but
There's really no need to even
was
slash.
Well, the thing is people are
Well-
getting these bags out for free. You just go to the door. Why do you need to rob somebody?
well, like the older
good
kids
point.
would rob wee guys.
I see.
Do you know what I mean?
Is that what he's
It's not
reverted
far
to?
off
No.
just tipping someone upside down to get the lunch money out of jeans.
I never done it, but I always remember the fear of it. Like like my sister warning me about her pals would be, oh, you need to watch out for the bag slashers or whatever. Don't get your bag
So they
slashed.
would slash the bag for all the things to fall like a
It's a bit
pinata.
like, like a Bami pinata.
Aye.
When
Sometimes they would do it just for a laugh, just to see you squirm round for your sweets.
I does want these monkey nuts.
it's Some of these don't even have wrappers. Come on.
Come on, guys.
Sounds a bit like when we were at primary school. You'd always hear tales of when you move into secondary school, of like, oh, they give you swirlies and everything. They're flushing your head in the toilet.
Aye.
All this mad shit that never actually
And it never
happened.
kind of happened, yeah.
Yeah.
One time, though, on Halloween night, I was down the Glen in Uncle Patrick, and me and my mate were walking to the shop, and we were jumped by two guys in like masks and like sort of scream masks, but they weren't battering us. It was weird. They like put us in a really light headlock, and we were still pure panicking.
Play fighting with you.
Kind of play fighting. We're like, what the fuck's going on? Turns out the next day we found out it was two guys we knew. They just bamming us up.
So they made you think
But
you'd
they
get
committed
jumped.
to the boat, the
Yeah.
bit so much they never came clean.
They never came clean at the time. They
Until
ran
after.
away, and we were like, did we just get jumped there? But it was really, really gentle. It wasn't sore.
Yeah.
So it was confusing because it was like we were like, we feel violated, but also we're not hurt whatsoever.
Yeah.
in that. So it was such a weird
That's what Halloween's all about. You get Halloween
getting
pranks.
scared,
Spectacular. Yeah.
but you're still safe.
That's it.
And then they told us the next day. It was an odd thing.
Is that why you're like into horror now? Is that your
Aye, that's I've got the
trauma
thrill.
backstory?
Did you ever bob for apples?
Aye.
Yeah, duking for apples we call it.
Duking,
Is that
aye.
not?
Is that
Yeah.
Is that an East Coast
interchangeable, I would say.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't want to go after someone like you with your face paint on because you'd get all
Because the water would be
Yeah,
all...
Well,
I
green.
remember being out as a classic lad bants, but we all went out dressed as girls one year, and
So
Done that in
Stevie and-
Zante.
my makeup did not last in the duking game.
How does all this shit start? Duking for apples and all this?
Well, because sometimes you go put your face in it, but sometimes people make you put a wee fork in your mouth and drop it. You ever do that?
yeah.
I know, I think that's the one I done. It was the Fork King.
Aye.
So I don't
I've
think I
done
succeeded.
both ways.
So you didn't do put your face in the water and try and...
No,
Right,
I think it was a fork. You had to put a fork in your mouth.
Should do it after this. Just switch the cameras off and we'll get a bass in it and
Aye, we should, eh?
go for it.
What do you remember, like, one of your jokes or anything when you were trick-or-treating, apart from the pumpkin one?
No, but I tell you, I remember the first joke I can remember telling, and I don't even think I understood it at the time, but it was after Princess Diana died.
Edgy comic.
I must have heard it in school or something, and I remember sitting at the kitchen, I was just sitting at the dinner table with my mum and dad, and I said, oh mum, what's the difference between Princess Diana and Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods has got a better driver. And they were like, Mark! I'm like, I didn't know what that means.
That's good stuff.
That's like what would be like a WhatsApp joke now.
100%. Aye, that would be, my
Shite
dad would
patter.
be inappropriately forwarding that into the
Yeah.
family group chat.
I remember my first ever joke, but I don't know if it's kind of racist now.
Well, okay, we'll say it, and if it is, we'll cut it out.
Why did the Mexican chuck his wife off a bridge?
Tequila.
Tequila.
Yeah.
that
I don't
racist?
think that's
I
racist.
think racist.
That was like one your uncle would tell you and goes, do that for your trick or treating.
They drink tequila in Mexico.
They do.
Hence the
I'm not saying
The
every
humour.
Mexican chucks his wife off a bridge. Off the bridge.
They're not bringing the best. They're chucking their women up bridges. They drink tequila. Just Donald Trump, like, his entire policy on Mexico is basically, we need to build a wall to stop the Mexicans killing women. Did that get you a lot of sweets?
Oh, big time. Toffee apples as well.
Oh,
Was
your
never
big
a
closer.
fan. That was my closer. That's my opener and closer.
I always remember like we used to have a decent bonfire night in my town, and toffee apples would be like, oh god, get one, they look fucking amazing. And then you have them, and you're like, nah, they shite.
I don't ever think
it's
I've
still
had
an
one.
apple.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's
shite.
it, aye.
After the first layer, it's
Yeah.
pish, innit?
Yeah,
I
waste
don't-
of time.
I don't think I've ever had a toffee apple.
No, never lived, man.
Can I say, well, I would have got one if I'd successfully bobbed with that fucking fork.
I remember a funny joke that a wee guy told me. It lives with me to this day.
Three of the best Scottish comedians, by the
Yeah,
way.
this is like if you've not seen Steve stand up, it's like this.
He's really struggling.
This is
for
what won him the
material.
BBC Comedy Award.
You couldn't get away with that Mexican joke now.
So, you know, are you familiar? Basically, you need to be familiar with the original joke. This wee guy, this visionary, subverted a joke at the age of about 3 or 4.
Subverting the form.
And,
all comic.
and that's why it made me laugh so much. So have you ever heard the knock knock joke? Knock knock,
Who's there?
bear
Bear who?
bum. You ever heard that? So
That's so much shiter than I ever expected it to be.
How is that subverting?
That's not
the
even a
fun?
fucking
no,
joke.
so that's the original joke, right? That's
Yeah.
the joke that I've
I'm
heard.
not even familiar with that version.
Oh, I'd heard
No,
that.
I don't
I've
remember
heard that loads and loads of times, right? This wee visionary said this. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Bear.
Bear who?
Bear penis. And it made me fucking... I fucking started howling so much. I was
That is
screaming
it.
with laughter.
Did he then open up his dress and show you the groping granny?
Honestly, I've never laughed so hard in my
That
life
is
at this
funny.
wee guy. It was great because it caught me off guard so much.
That's what a joke
Well,
should
it's all
do.
about subverting the expectations.
And also,
Exactly.
bare penis isn't even nearly a phrase.
It's so funny, man. That wee guy is great. If he's not a comedian in the future,
Yeah, what's he up to these days? Get him round,
I know,
man.
man.
Get him on the pod.
we should. It's my new writer for my Fringe show next year.
He sees you doing comedy and being successful and he goes like, I remember I used to be funnier than him. I remember making him howl.
Howl
now,
well
now
after.
you've stole his...
Now I've
Stolen his
stolen.
material.
I can only hope that that's the mate that always steals your stuff that told you that joke and now you still has power back.
It's like
Bare
one of those.
penis.
It's great, man.
Anyway, you were obviously you are a big fan of horror, Steve.
Yep.
What is your opinion on Halloween and just horror films in general?
Love it. Love horrors.
Slasher films. What's your favourite one? Would you say?
Slasher.
Let's just go. Let's open it up to all sort of horror / Halloween films. Is there a particular Halloween film you'd recommend?
Well, we watched The Exorcist for the podcast.
The original one.
The original, which
Your
was
cunting daughter!
some
It's
great,
great,
lines
wasn't
in
it?
that.
Yeah, that was funny. That was good. People fucking talk to me about films now because of that podcast, and I can never even remember
know.
1
No.
second of any of the films we watched.
But it was a great film. I really
Yeah, it
enjoyed
was good. It was good.
Was it scary or did it seem like dated now? Like the jumps and stuff in it. Do you think?
I think it's pretty legit, actually.
Like some of the special effects were like practical effects were really good. Like the wee turning the head round thing.
Yeah.
was class.
Because I think nowadays, like, because it's all like a lot of it's more CGI and stuff. The actual handmade quality of it, I think, sometimes is more unsettling.
Like spraying green
Yeah.
vomit out our mouth all over the place when it's great.
I watched Halloween last night, the original one, for 1970 whatever, and
You thought it was pish.
it was quite shite. Like it was just, I feel like it was all. I'm sure I'm totally wrong in this, but it felt like they'd still not really figured out how to do like a proper horror. Like I think apparently that was maybe one of the first slasher movies or
Yeah.
something. So I think they were having a first go at like even figuring out angles and building suspense and all these kind of things that have got perfected. I would assume even in later Halloween films. It just didn't really hit. It just seemed a bit like, oh, maybe
Aye.
this was scary when you're watching the 70s, but no, it's just like, why is this guy walking so slowly up the stairs? Like,
It's shite when you see stuff
Yeah.
like that.
and twice in the film, by the way, it's what'd you call her in it?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, and twice she thinks she's killed Michael Myers, and then
sits
just
up or some shit.
and then just drops the knife at him and runs away twice.
Yeah.
Fool me once, you know what I mean? But fuck's sake, I just was like, when she done it the second time, I'm like, I'm done with this thing. And then the ending, spoiler alert, but the ending is then the fucking mad doctor comes and shoots him, and then a fucking camera goes back to him, and then he looks back, and he's
Gone.
and it's just that mad scary music plays, and you're just like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of shit.
I know, but
I don't know how they became so popular, the Michael Myers thing.
that kind of paved the way for a lot of like slasher films and stuff. So a lot of the tropes for that are used, like you drop the knife and then you've not actually killed him, he's not actually dead, or he's still alive at the end, and
Yeah.
a lot of that. Like Scream is great because that is quite meta and it like tells you all the tropes in the film as
Right.
they're doing it as well.
Yeah.
Like goes through the tropes of horror and stuff. It Follows is a great one that I would recommend.
Mm-hmm.
The Babadook.
The Babadook, we watched that.
It was alright.
That was one of the horror films that's like an allegory for
Yeah.
grief.
Very clever.
Right.
One of those ones.
Yeah. Try to give you a message.
You don't want a message when you're watching a horror, do you?
Tell you
I
what.
shit my pants like Woody, that's what I want.
That was actually the real reason why I shit my pants. I just got I
In the
seen
toilet
somebody in a
watching
really
Scream on your phone.
seen somebody in a really scary outfit. I watched Us, the Jordan Peele film. I had not seen Get Out, which is the first one,
Get Out's amazing.
I preferred Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out.
but I really liked Us.
Us is good.
really
I'd say Get Out is
It's
fucking
better. I know.
far
I'll need
better.
watching it, but
Apparently
I was,
the new one's not that good.
no.
It's alright.
Nope. It's
I've
called.
not seen it.
It's different. It's more sci-fi than horror.
Do you find it because you're a big horror fan, do you find Halloween a bit sort of amateur hour? Is it a bit Hogmanay?
Oh,
or
yeah.
is it?
Oh yeah, it's...
I'm doing this 365.
He asks
do
wearing
this
a hot dog costume.
Like, is this cultural appropriation for you?
It's like, you know, those people.
My costume is not your costume.
Like, you know, those people who are like, they discover a band and it's like, oh, I discovered that years. I discovered Kings of Leon years before, only by the night. It's a bit like that.
I'm interested.
I'm watching horror all year round.
When did this? I don't always remember you being into horror. When did this sort of obsession with horror come?
I used to always like it when I was a wee guy. I remember being traumatised, actually. I spoke about this in the Exorcist episode, but I went to my mate's house and his sister made us watch like 10 minutes of The Exorcist when I was probably about 8 years old or something, and I was fucking terrified. And then one time my sister had like all her pals round for a sleepover. They were watching Scream and they went downstairs to get popcorn, and I went in to watch a bit of it, and it was right at a scary bit, and it fucking terrified me. So I was pure traumatised for years. I didn't watch them, and then years later I was like, actually quite enjoy these.
Yeah.
Must have been shite being wee Steve, getting jumped and your sister fucking abusing you, and just like can't turn without someone that you think you know and love and trust.
Then you go out and you trick or treating and somebody slashes your fucking bag.
No, she didn't traumatise, but I done it by myself. I went in when she was at the room. She did used to like tell us wee ghost stories and that.
Alright.
Do you just remember the black box ghost story?
No, I don't think I've ever heard this.
Get the lights up
Get the
again.
lights
Wasn't a
down.
torch.
Get the lights down again.
But you know, we were talking last week about, you know, you were at your camp and like we went to like Ardroy, and part of it was like I remember walking in like the woods and they would tell us ghost stories and stuff like that, which was actually pretty fucking scary.
It was when it's dark like this.
Yeah.
Gets pretty spooky.
Amazing.
So this is a wee ghost story called The Black Box. And this is me half remembering it from when I was about 8 years old.
You're gonna mix up loads of parts of the Goosebumps bits in this, aren't you?
I remember like
Reader beware, you're in for a scare.
honestly don't remember half the details.
Me and Mark can ask for clarification.
This-
Just like every other story Steve ever tells us.
Go, what?
Sorry, what? Right, I'll tell you this first one. I'll tell you a different one first, right?
Right.
This one's called the dog. So once upon a time, there was a scary mansion, right?
A scary mansion.
You are gonna have to speed this up a
Otherwise
little.
known
If
as-
you want this to be one of the clips, you're gonna have to try a little harder.
Otherwise known as a haunted house.
A haunted house. A woman stays with her husband. The husband gets called out on business, right? It's quite spooky because he gets a call out the blue, and she goes, "Oh, this is a really spooky house. I don't want to be here alone. So don't leave me." He goes, "Don't worry, I'll get you a pet dog. He'll keep care of you."
How long does this guy away for?
So he goes out, gets her a pet dog.
I think he's leaving this with you.
goes out,
Consolation prize, this dog, really.
he gets her a pet dog.
I've got good news and bad news, love.
It's a Shih Tzu, right? We'll say it's a Shih Tzu.
Right.
So we'll call it Kojak. She's like, he says, if you're ever scared, all you need to do, Kojak's bed is under your bed. All you need to do is put your wee hand down. He'll lick your fingers and make you feel safe. She goes.
Ideal place for Kojak's bed.
She goes, all right, no
This
worries.
sounds like it's leading to another groping granny situation.
So first night he's away, she hears this drip, drip, drip. She's like, what the fuck's that? That's pretty creepy. She goes, Kojak, where are you? She puts her wee hand under. It goes, licks her wee fingers. So thank God, that's fine. Next night, she hears it again. Drip, drip, drip. She's like, what the fuck's that? She checks, nothing there. She's like, oh, I'm still scared. Kojak, where are you? Licks her wee fingers, right? So that's alright. The next night, happens again. Would you believe? Drip, drip, drip. She puts her hand under. Lick, lick, lick. She's like, oh, that's alright. She goes, but it keeps happening that night. And she's like, I need to investigate this. She goes into the bathroom, pulls back the shower curtain, and Kojak is lying there with blood dripping from his neck. Drip, drip, drip. Who's under the bed?
The husband. Business trip was cancelled.
It's the husband. Oh, fuck.
Was it the husband?
I don't know.
Is that the end of it? Just who's under the bed?
Yeah.
Mark speaking on behalf of listeners. Is that fucking it? Is it?
Well, it's just you're meant to go, oh Christ, who's under the bed?
Well, that was worth.
Yeah, I mean, without the theatrics for the video version, just audio, I think that's going to struggle as a story.
Well, you wanted to hear my spooky story. The black box one is a bit of a shaggy dog story.
What was that? A shitey dog story?
Basically, it was a woman kills her husband, puts him in a black box, and then chucks it in a river. The next night, she hears black boxes standing at the end of your gate. And then the next day, it's like black boxes coming up your stairs. And then it's like black boxes at the end of your bed. And then you keep doing that. And then at the end, you just go, boo! So when it gets nice and tense, and everyone's all really tense when it's black boxes right beside your bed. And then you say boo, and it makes everyone shit themselves.
It's a jump scare.
It's a jump scare. Exactly, Stu.
An analogue jump scare.
But when I was 8 years old and my sister was telling that story with her pals,
Scary.
that's what got me into the horror genre. Let me tell you.
You've been chasing that high ever since.
I see that story you told, the bit about the haunted house. It reminded
Are
me.
you scared?
No, see when I was 5 or something, my mum and dad took me to Disneyland, Florida, right? And I've got a distinct memory of we were going up to this haunted house and walking up to this bit, and we get in, and then the doors are shut, and they like make a big hang of like slam the door shut. And then this like there's a wee monitor thing, and this like kind of Dracula looking guy comes on, and he goes, "You're now trapped here. There is no escape. You will all die here." And instantly I'm like, and you start screaming, and crying at it, and I'm like, "No, we need to leave, we need." And I'm just watching everybody else like going through the next
I'd
bit. And I'm like,
freak out.
"You are fucking have your nut." I'm like, "Did you not hear the guy? Like, come on!" And I'm like, I'm pure stressing it. My mum and dad like, "What?" And I was stressing it so much they had to just take me out like the fire exit, and we were going on. But I'm like, I always just remember like hearing that, me going like, "Fucking hell, we all need to get out of here."
Were you swearing when you were at it?
No, just my demeanour was this, and watching all these people like fucking sheep walking to their annihilation, and
Early graves.
and that's that's how I now see society. I just see all these guys walking towards oblivion with global warming and all that, and I'm the sole voice going, "Fucking hell, come on!"
You're the only one telling it how it is.
Yeah.
What I don't realise though is that actually it's all just a ride. Like Bill Hicks said.
Life's a roller coaster. You just got to ride it.
All night long.
You don't need to just ride it. You can also scream until they let you leave.
Walk out the fire escape.
Did you ever go to the Edinburgh or even the London dungeons?
I've been to
Aye,
Dungeons.
Edinburgh.
I can't remember what one.
Yeah.
I remember doing the thing when I went to Edinburgh Dungeons. I think it was with the Scouts or something. And obviously I was at that age, probably the same age I'm talking about, too old to be trick or treating. Maybe just started drinking or no long before it. But I was like with the Scouts, whatever age I was, and going along, and like I was obviously still worried. I'd maybe be a wee bit scared, but I was like pure bravado. So I thought, like, see when the actors would come in and go, "Ooh, you need to go," and I'd be like, "Shut up!" And all that. Like, I was here being the wee.
Come a long way from that ride.
I was being the wee cheeky prick, like pure, like, "Oh, stay at you," and all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, try to take the piss out of the actors to the point where they must have just fucking hated me.
I knew someone that worked at Edinburgh Dungeon, and so I used to work with her at the Harry Potter themed escape room.
Yeah.
That I used to work at. I don't know if we've spoke about this on the pod. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But there was talk about one. We had 2 rooms at the escape room, and it's in Edinburgh, obviously. And it's like old town where there's like, you can't move for fucking ghost stories and ghost tours and all that.
Of course.
And there was chat that there was a ghost in the room. I never saw it, and I worked there loads, but whatever. And I was at a party with Georgia, who used to work with me there, and she also used to work at the dungeon, and she swore that she'd seen a ghost at the escape room. And normally, I like to believe women normally. When it comes to ghosts, I don't know. I had some questions.
You never hear that argument, do you? When it comes to belief.
This sounds like you're excusing dead men behaviour.
What was funny to me about it was she said that she'd seen one at the dungeons as well, which is crazy, like, because you're like,
To see
they're
2.
fabricating. Yeah, most people struggle for 1. Georgia's seen 2 for starters. She's killing it. But like to see them at the Edinburgh Dungeon where there's like out of work actors, dressing up as things like ghosts and that, to have an actual real one is crazy. And she said she saw one day, and there's like a bit at the dungeon where there's like this red curtain and it comes down to like knee height or shin height or whatever. And she said there was like you could see the ghost boots underneath the curtain, which is very fucking convenient as well, to be honest, that the curtain cut off where the boots begin.
Yeah.
And she was like leading her colleague over to the area where the ghost was, so she tells me. And she like whipped back the curtain and the ghost disappeared.
Wow.
And, I just think that's the only time like a human being has scared a ghost. It should be the other way around, no?
Yeah.
If you're someone who is working in these type of places, maybe you're just a bit of an enthusiast. Maybe you just want to believe.
I'm open to it, but I've never seen anything with my own eyes.
We spoke about it in the CMB
About
episode
ghosts.
about ghosts and ghouls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot he kept banging on about ghouls. That was sort of a Halloween proto Halloween episode. The only other idea for a costume I had, by the way, was to come as CMB. I was going to buy glasses and wear my bowling shirt, but I couldn't be fucked shaving.
That would be a kind of niche, almost like I forgot to dress up sort of thing in a way, but
Yeah.
That was plan A, if you can believe it.
I did CMB. He told me that he used to do he would go to a Halloween party dressed as the concept of fear.
that's right.
He's went down the Babadook allegory route.
And you listen, this is
just
Christopher
that-
McArthur Boyd, who was a previous guest. He
Previous
went to a fucking Halloween party in Baillieston dressed as the concept of fear.
And he just had a bit of paper with the word fear written on it. Sellotaped him.
Fuck's sake.
Really, if he was wanting to like go as his fears, he'd have just dressed in that fucking groping granny costume. Scared of the bird.
I feel like this feels like when we're dressed up, how if you ever go to like a gaff after like Halloween, and
Aye.
it's like 4 a.m, you're just talking shit. Cunt dressed as a mask. and a
I mean, I'm
horror,
telling you, fucking Illuminati.
chopping up lines with a machete. My birthday's like 3 days after Halloween, so that time of year feels like it's birthday season. Do you know what I mean?
3rd of November.
Remember.
Yeah.
The 3rd of
Just
November.
putting that out there for the listeners if anyone wants to wish Steve a happy birthday.
It's a bit like between how Christmas and New Year you've got that period. It's like Halloween and bonfire night. You've got
Yours
that
falls in the middle.
half all right.
The spooky perineum.
Is that what you tell yourselves that you're like, "Fuck, that's how nobody's showing up to my birthday because everybody's so busy, they don't even know what day of the week it is."
Like
Exactly.
that time between Halloween and my birthday where no one knows what day it is.
You've just moved into a new flat. I think we might have spoken, but did we speak about this before about if a place was haunted? Would you go into it still?
Well, that's funny you mentioned that. So it's quite a spooky place. It's like the bit near me used to be a mental hospital,
Really?
and now it's houses.
So it's built on a mental
It's the
hospital.
place for it.
So it's a
Place
new
for
build, but it
ghosts.
was built on. Well,
So it's a place for ghosts. So if I see anything, I'll keep my eyes peeled. If there is,
Why
I
any.
want
would
an
it-
exclusive on the podcast.
why would ghosts be more likely to hang about where a mental like? Surely, if someone dies, doesn't matter if they're in a mental institution or no.
Spirits, troubled spirits. Let me tell you something about troubled spirits, guys. It's the tortured souls who cannot leave and go to heaven or whatever.
Right.
That's why they're always spooky ghosts. Do you know what I mean? You don't get a nice ghost apart from Casper.
Right. See the
That's why it's
exception.
never like, an accountant.
Yeah, it's tortured souls who cannot go through to the other side. They're stuck. This is their purgatory.
So what did they need to try and haunt people to sort of resolve something before they can leave this mortal coil?
No, I don't think it's a task, but I think it's just
Taskmaster.
they're just a bit bored, nothing else to do. Do you know what I mean?
You think all ghosts are just bored?
Yeah,
That's what you're trying to tell us.
yeah.
They're just like me and you when we were 12. Like, let's just go and do trick or treat and get some fucking sweeties.
You would be bored if you were here for 300 years, wouldn't you? You'd get
I'm
bored.
not saying I'm not saying I wouldn't be bored.
Still, you'd get bored.
So you just fuck with people.
Aye, I don't think ghosts are trying to scare. I don't even know if I believe in ghosts, by the way. This isn't me saying I believe in ghosts, but I don't think they're trying to scare people. But if you just seen a ghost cutting my boot, you'd go, "That's pretty scary," wouldn't you? So I don't think they're actively going, let's scare
It's not
people.
their MO.
My ma and my auntie, years ago they went to see Tina Turner. And I think it was
Talking about tortured souls
I think it was in Edinburgh, right? It was in
Should have
Murray.
dressed up as her, Steve. Got a wig. Finally.
I know, right?
Is that one?
That's the one, I think. But my mum and my auntie went to see Tina Turner at Murrayfield, I believe, or somewhere in Edinburgh. And so they stayed in this hotel and they got it for dead cheap and all that sort of stuff. And they went out and they had a good night and then they came back steaming pure. And they're like walking through like the sort of wee grounds of the place. It was like in this sort of big castle kind of thing. And walking through the grounds pure steaming, like having a lap of the rest the next day. And then the next day they got up and they're having their breakfast and the woman that runs the place or somebody else staying there said, "Oh, do you know about the White Lady of Kirstorfen?" And they were staying on the grounds of where this White Lady of Kirstorfen was meant to have been, and like it's meant to be this haunted castle and all this shit. And they're pure shining. They're like, "Oh my god, see if we'd known that the night before, would have been pure shining it." And I was mind like my auntie bought like they had like a wee thing in the gift shop of like a picture of like the tree for the grounds, but like somebody obviously photoshopped like the White Lady of Kirstorfen into it. I always remember seeing it on the fridge and just fucking shite myself every time I seen it. Like it's just funny how it's always like if you're trick of the mind, it's like if you weren't to know then you wouldn't, but then all of a sudden you start thinking about this thing and you hear a fucking you hear a crack because of the fucking central heating or something, and then you think it's the fucking ghost.
Mar Hall, that's meant to be haunted. You ever stayed there? Because it used to be like a hospital in World War II or some shit.
Really?
And we stayed there one night, and in the middle of the night, the TV just turned itself on.
Aye.
That's quite spooky.
That is spooky. There's no two ways about it.
Ghosts love
The telly.
the telly.
It's like when you leave it on for your dog when you go out.
They get bored. Do you know what I mean?
What I
You
think
gotta
is
put
quite
the telly
funny is like with horror films and stuff is like see whenever like there's new technology, like so see in Halloween when I was watching last night, it's like all of a sudden he's incorporating the phone ringing and somehow he manages to fucking phone the house all the time, or like the Ring where she comes out the telly and it's always like telly stuff. Probably the worst example of this because like apparently it was quite well reviewed at the time, but it was this thing with James Woods in it called Videodrome or something. And I watched it and it's fucking shite, but the whole thing's about basically VHS tapes and how like if you put them in it's like all these mad subliminal messages and then people coming out the screen and all that sort of stuff, but you just like it just seems so out of date. It's so ridiculous that people would like even care about this, but there's obviously this sort of moral panic at the time about, I think it was like when the Satanic Panic was on and people were worried about subliminal messages and like satanic groups and all that, and it just seems so fucking mental now and like just so because it's like pure. I was like, oh, videotapes, like this
a haunted videotape. There was one recently, like a Netflix one about a mad haunted app on your phone or something like that. And it just sounds so stupid now, but I guess it's just an updated version of. Yeah. Because Poltergeist, was that not someone coming at the telly and all that stuff? Yeah. Or something about a telly, I don't know, but like.
I guess it's no different, but it does sound ridiculous.
It sounds shite, doesn't it? But it was one of those.
Fitness pal's lost his fucking mind.
It's one of those ones on. Like, you ever see those Netflix like articles? Not articles for like Netflix films that are out, and it's just clickbait, and they're obviously pure shite films, but it's like. This new Netflix horror had people flushing their phones down the toilet. It was that scary.
People didn't sleep for 40 nights after watching Love Is Blind on Netflix.
This new Netflix horror had people putting their boxers at the top of a cistern. Here's maybe the closest we can get to a philosophical Halloween question, right? Kind of touching on what you were saying earlier, Steve. If you were to die and become a ghost, like say you had to be locked in, this mortal plane for another wee while, like what would you do? What would you do if you were a ghost and you were?
If I was bored.
If let's just
try to suck yourself off.
What? Try to suck yourself off. A lot easier if you were just if you were like a spirit.
I heard Marilyn Manson became a ghost to try and suck his own cock.
What would you do? Say you had a year, right, to
be a ghost,
to wander the earth as that was your purgatory as a ghost.
You're gonna cut a bit, and you're gonna.
We're just getting stuff for
That's
free.
That's what you're ghosting is like me on a Sunday with no plans, just cutting a bit, get a coffee, go to a charity shop.
Well, I know that's the thing. Can you enjoy things like? Can you go for?
I suppose you can't actually drink or eat.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be shite.
Can you go on roller coasters?
Let's say aye.
Let's say aye.
So you can't like eat a Big Mac, but
Well,
you
let's
can
say
go
you
on a
can eat
ghost
as well,
train.
because that does sound shite. Let's say you can eat and whatever.
Well, I would do all the things because that's like the question we done about the invisible thing, innit?
If you're invisible.
I think the question's got to be you can't eat or drink
Right,
or
aye,
go
okay.
on roller
You're a
coasters.
ghost.
How you fill in the
What
day
would
is
you
what you're
do?
doing.
Would you haunt people for a laugh and stuff?
Aye,
I mean, this is kind of what the
Aye.
BBC show Ghost is, really. You seen that?
yeah,
It's a good show. But they're all chatting with each other. Do we think ghosts are all chatting?
pals.
What would be cool is that you could just go to, like, you know, fucking Champions League final, World Cup final, just stand in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I'd watch a lot more live sport if I was a ghost.
Well, that's I did. Can other people see you?
No?
Right, so you can just
Wimbledon's just like a million fucking ghosts on centre court.
yeah.
Just no worried about how expensive the tickets are now.
So how can you scare people if people can't see you then?
Well, there must be some way that you can interact with the physical and make noises. So maybe you can make noises and all that. Like if you bump in, I suppose if you
I'm not
bump
bothered
into
about making myself known, I don't think, if I'm a ghost.
No.
I'm
Do you not
just
want to
keeping a
creep
low
people
profile.
out?
No,
So
I'm
that
finally watch Book of Mormon. Everything I couldn't get tickets for in my life.
Well, what about like an enemy of yours, a hater? Would you not want to spook them up?
Probably wouldn't bother.
No.
Wouldn't bother my ass to see my haters after the grave.
If you could
That-
want one person, who would it be?
That guy who stole
No
all my
comment.
stuff from my room, I'll be going there, knocking over that CD rack that he took from me. There you go, yeah, wank.
Haunting CD. Can a CD be haunted?
Lifting up the CD,
Hey, that scientific calculator's just
floating about.
floating.
Blue dabba dee dabba dies floating
Can
about.
you travel if you're a ghost? Because you don't move very fast. I'd just
You
slowly
can-
see the world. I think I'd just.
Can you go through walls and that? I take it.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
think so.
Because you're not
It's,
waiting.
it's
through the
inconsistent, the
turnstiles
idea
at the
of ghosts,
football ground.
because, like, so if you can walk through walls, how come you can, like, bang them and stuff?
Well, I think they talk about that in Ghosts, do they not?
Yeah.
It's like they can. One guy can
We're really just having, like, a writer's room session for that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you really concentrate, so you
If
can
he
like
really
move a mug like a
concentrates.
little.
Do you know what really influenced me as a kid? Like, I watched that film, is it Matilda, where she can just look at stuff and move it, like, is that telekinesis? Is that what
Yeah.
it is? But I used to always, like, try and do that.
I used to try and do that.
Did you?
Just for like 5 minutes staring at my light switch, trying to make it turn off, and then it just never worked. You bastard!
I got you there, you bastards. Got you. That was a real spooky story.
One for the YouTube viewers.
YouTube
Wee
watchers,
bit
eh?
of fun.
A wee bit of fun, bit of
Never hurt
spooky
anyone.
fun, innit?
I think that about covers it for this week's spooky special of the Halloween episode of Some Laugh. We hope that you have a fantastic Halloween, whatever you're up to. And as ever, thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, big thanks to everyone who bought tickets to the live show for Some Laugh. Very much looking
Cheers,
forward
guys.
to that.
Cheers.
And we'll be more information in the pipeline soon about other shows upcoming for those that missed out.
Yep.
As ever, if you're watching on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. You can give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can follow us at Some Laugh Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And if you've got any listeners' questions you'd like to send in for us, you can also email us at somelaughpod@gmail.com as well.
Yes.
Anything else about to plug? Again,
I think so.
obviously, it's Stuart. I know you've got your Glasgow Comedy Festival show on sale at the moment as well.
Yes, Wednesday the 22nd of March.
22nd of March at the
Please
Stand
come, listeners.
Comedy
Yeah, it'll be
Club
good.
as well. If you missed out on tickets for the live show at Some Laugh, see Stuart doing stand up, and I'm also doing a show on the 24th of March at King's Theatre, so please do come along to that as well. Got quite a lot of tickets still to shift for that.
Potentially
although
haunted.
potentially could be haunted theatre.
yeah.
You never know. Maybe backstage. You know, the ghost of the feast.
They often
as they
are
say.
these places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Well, hopefully I don't fucking die in my hole that night anyway, is all I can hope for. But anyway, guys, listen, thanks very much for tuning in, and we will speak to you very soon.
Cheers, guys.
Thank
All the
you.
best.
Somebody stop me!